Welcome back, people. We are extremely ecstatic to be here. I'm here with my friend Sebastian. Again, he is from Marseille, a Marseille supporter and a Liverpool fan, of course. The game was really interesting tonight, man. Like, I did not expect PSG to actually dominate the entirety of the game.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What do you feel about the game?
It was like basically it was the best match of PSG this season. I think, like
Even this season, I think even in the Champions League campaign, PSG have never been this dominating.
against Liverpool, but it was not like scoring goals. Like,
Yeah, numerically it wasn't
yeah,
there.
yeah.
But
The first leg against Liverpool, it was incredible.
and I would like to mention one thing. I think Luis Enrique has won. This is his 14th trophy in totality. He's won 14 major trophies, placing him in the top 10 managers of all time historically. Right. The game started pretty even. I think it was like a game of chess. There were many cancellations by both the back line. Bastoni, I think even DeMarco initially in the first 5-6 minutes was okay. But from there on, you had Désiré Doué and Hakimi pushing ahead on the right flank.
Dembele pressing on Summer
Yeah,
every single time. Like
that was devastating to watch, to be honest. I mean, Dembele pressing like a maniac on every occasion. And he did make him unsettled, right? I mean, he couldn't really supply the ball where he wanted to. But I still think Sommer, with the distribution later on in the game, was finding Marcus Thuram.
yeah,
Right.
but long
balls.
range pass. Yeah,
But Inter were like using a combination of short passing, right, playing from the back, and then playing long. In the second half, I think they were not playing long, but at the same time they were lobbing the ball to the flanks, right. We saw that Dumfries, Thuram were the main points of focus, right. And I still think we are giving an assessment on Inter Milan on the basis of how Inzaghi manages them, right? And it's not the best system. I do not approve of it. I don't like it, right? But on the basis of that system, I think Thuram tried doing the job. I would still say that he played decently okay,
yeah, decently. Yeah,
right? 6.5, 7 out of 10 for me with the hold up play, trying to find other players in those spaces. But the midfield wasn't stepping up. What happened to Barella? What happened to
Çalhanoğlu.
Çalhanoğlu?
Nah.
Right? What do you feel about Barella? Like, we had this discussion in the past too. I think he's overrated, to be honest. I think when it comes to major finales, this is Inter's second finale in 3 years. And they've capitulated completely in this one. What do you think about Nico Barella?
I used to be a better player, but then like, is the end? This is the end of the generation for Inter Milan, I think. So he needs better player around him, I think.
Yeah, I don't think that combination is really good. I think Nico Barella, Mkhitaryan, right? And who's the third one? Çalhanoğlu.
Yeah, Çalhanoğlu.
Çalhanoğlu in AC Milan, I thought, was peaking. He was growing really well in that team.
Exactly.
As soon as he came here, I think his first season was really good. And thereon, he's been okay, but he's not been he hasn't really stamped his authority in that midfield, right? And this is what I noticed tonight. PSG was so subliminal. Like, PSG played their best game. And it wasn't like, I was thinking this is going to be a dull finale. It wasn't. Because PSG was just so good, right? Luis Enrique. And this is why I think football won tonight. Because the best system nullified a system which resorts to pragmatism, resorts to reactionary systems, right? Systems which are defensive. Like, they were putting a low block where they couldn't really deal with that intensity. And you wouldn't believe this, brother. They traveled 10 kilometers more than PSG in totality, right? They had to do a lot of hard work.
Exactly.
But these guys have no communication at all. Sommer was shouting at everyone. Bastoni, Acerbi, and Pavard, bro. Like, talk to me about the fullbacks. What do you think about Pavard and DeMarco?
He was injured. Pavard was injured before the match, I think.
He was?
I thought. I think, yeah.
But what do you think about the battle with Khvicha and Pavard?
It was a lot. Kvaratskhelia was almost invisible at the beginning, but he's still like,
He grew into the game
yeah,
later on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But then like Pavard was not good. Like you cannot compare. It's like another world. Like
True, I think Benjamin Pavard, again, he scored that goal in the World Cup, I think, right,
Yeah.
for Germany. But I still feel this. I still feel that Benjamin Pavard is just an average fullback.
yeah,
Right?
and then he play like with Bayern, with France, high level.
Yeah. Yeah, he was definitely there in the scene, but I don't think he really
Yeah,
lived up to his potential.
exactly.
And you could see it tonight that their decision making, when the attackers were actually trying to take them on, they would retract back. They would be afraid to actually take them on, Like attackers actually approaching you, try stepping up a few yards ahead, try closing them down. That is how DeMarco actually
Yeah,
conceded the second goal.
against Doué, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Désiré Doué, that ball ricocheted off his thigh.
Yeah.
It would have,
Yeah, he
if he would have
didn't-
actually a step a yard
Yeah.
ahead,
Yeah, exactly.
close him down, close that guy down.
Exactly.
No. But bro, talk to me about Désiré Doué, man. Talk to me about that guy.
I discovered this. I found out this guy like just like in January, yeah, not far away.
Yeah.
I knew this guy like, but then like this season is incredible. Like the way he played, and the way the team is structured, it's incredible. Like,
It is. And I solely believe if you have a really good attacking system, it is because of the defense and the midfield.
Yeah.
I think
with Pacho.
Pacho was incredible tonight. I mean, he actually literally took care of Thuram. And there were sequences, there were phases where I felt Inter 5-6 minutes in between that 30th and 40th minute mark, they were causing havoc from the right? They were trying to cross the ball a lot. And I think this is a tactic. This is what I feel. Since they couldn't really cope up with the intensity that PSG were offering, right? Inzaghi decided to he told them, just get a corner, get a set piece, take a foul. We have two tall defenders who can punt the ball in. And you had Thuram and Achorbi, right, at the back end of the ball, at the far post, who tried heading the ball inside in the net, but they failed, right? They were the most threatening on corners, for sure. I'll give them that. That is the best. I think that is the most positive thing which I found from Inter's setup tonight. Corners, right, and set pieces where they looked threatening. But that shot from Thuram, bro. Donnarumma. What a save, bro. What a block. And he wasn't really troubled tonight, right? Donnarumma had an exceptional game of football, right? Do you think if Mbappe was in this team, would they have won the finale?
No, I don't think so, yeah.
And do you think Mbappe has actually lived up to his potential?
As a French, I followed him like since the beginning. A bit overrated, but he's a good player. But he doesn't want to put like he was to be effortless, like he doesn't want to defend. It just wants to be like, okay, counter attack. That's it.
And
that's a problem. That's a problem. Like for the high level like that, you see with Real Madrid, we talked about it at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Like Bellingham, Vinicius, except Rodrigo, like with Real Madrid, like just like I don't come back. Just
he doesn't track back
consistent.
at all.
He's not consistent.
Exactly.
Like,
He doesn't
he's
really
doing
do any
that
recoveries.
for a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Then he stopped.
Exactly.
He was doing the same in Paris, like in like 21-22 season against Real Madrid. It was okay. I'm defending, and then no, I'm defending for 10 minutes, not consistently. You can like the work. Dembele's work was incredible. Like the pressing on Summer, like perfect.
Yeah, I think the reason why I picked up on Mbappe was, like you mentioned, I agree with you. I think he would have actually shadowed the entire squad, right? Because every manager has just focused on supplying him the ball, but that actually ruins their intensity because he's not going to track back. Even if he does, he gives up too easily. But this PSG team is working with Dembele, and he is a good leader. I'll tell you why. We actually underestimated him a couple of seasons back.
Exactly.
Right, when he was injury prone, he wasn't doing that well. But this guy, in a free role, in every game, just roams around, tries supplying the ball really well, links up with his wingers really well, and he'll step up into the box at the right moment. Right? That's where I think Dembele is exceptionally good. And I actually think we underrated Dembele.
Yeah.
And I think he is living up to his true potential now.
Yeah, I hope so for him. Yeah.
PSG's midfield totally nullified Mkhitaryan, Barella, and
Çalhanoğlu.
Çalhanoğlu. Totally. Like, literally, they couldn't even move. They couldn't even read what they're going to do next.
Yeah.
Fabian Ruiz, he's not the most skilled, but he is a very intelligent footballer.
Yeah,
Right.
he's slow player, but like his passes, the quality of passes, incredible.
Exactly. I think PSG had an exceptionally technical game, right? I don't think they faltered a lot. Second half, yeah, maybe they started well, but then Inter were getting onto them. I think Inter substitutes did a better job than PSG, than their own players, right?
Yeah, PSG was a bit loose, like, okay, we are
But I
leading 2-0. It will be like no pressure,
But still, I still feel that so PSG initially were controlling the rhythm entirely,
Yeah.
right? Second
For
half,
at least 30 minutes, then like 2-0, it was like, okay.
I don't know what Inzaghi told his boys in the second half, but then those men stepped on the pitch. The back line started being a little high.
Yeah.
They weren't sitting back. Inter wanted to actually score goals. They pushed them up, and then you saw that Inter were winning the second balls, right? Thuram was holding it up, supplying it to Dumfries, right?
And it was too late, I think.
And he was too late. And they had a couple of crosses too, like I mentioned, right? But then PSG, once again in the second half, nullified them on counter-attacks, right? Bro, be it Barcola, be it Doué, bro. They're so skilled. And I think, I wouldn't shy away from saying this. I think if a Liverpool team had another opportunity to play PSG, they would still lose.
I think so, yeah. They will need like more physicality. Like the
Yeah.
counter pressing with Jurgen Klopp, this kind of game.
DeMarco, like we've already spoken about him, but still, like to just to put a little light on him. DeMarco has been defensively found out, right, in every game. This fixture, like these are my thoughts, okay? I feel when he was in that wing-back position, he was putting in a foot there to stop Hakimi. And to a certain extent, it was working initially. But later on, I don't understand these tactics of just retracting back and then feeling nervous when they're actually attacking you, right? Like the second goal. And the first goal too. Désiré Doué. Hakimi.
Yeah.
What a brilliant ball that was, bro, from Vitinha. Two midfielders, João Neves, Vitinha.
Yeah,
They are like twins, right?
exactly.
Yeah, they've worked together so well, right? And they're so quick. They can just turn the game up all of a sudden. And defensively too, I think each and every player for PSG, man, they were going back. They were protecting that back line. Pacho, Marquinhos again, bro. Like, what a supreme performance. I'm just out of words at this point in time. What do you feel about Inter's system going forward, right? They've been finalists in 2 out of 3 Champions League in the last 3 years. What do you think needs to change in this team?
They will need to change some stuff in the midfields. Çalhanoğlu. This is the end of the generation for Inter.
Yeah.
So they need to change like Çalhanoğlu, Mkhitaryan. Barella will still be there, but I don't know in what level he will have in the future. It depends on the players around him. Then Sommer as well is a good goalkeeper, but he needs as well to change, like to have a new future. They need to have a new future. I think this is Italian team. They will play like that.
Yeah.
Like doesn't have too much balls, too many, like the balls too many times, but just counter attack.
That's what most Italian teams do.
Yeah, like they have against Barcelona, and Barcelona with like no much experience with Kubarsi, Araujo, they could like exploited like the mistakes from Barcelona, but against PSG, they will be like they get stuck in the midfields against midfielders.
This is what I feel about this too, right? Like you mentioned, Italian football is about defending, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, that needs to change. You had Atalanta at one point playing in the Champions League.
Yeah,
They were
Gasperini,
devastating, right?
Gasperini. Yeah.
That was brilliant. I feel in order to win a game against PSG, your most probabilistic chances of winning against PSG is if you give them stiff competition, toe to toe. It has to be a same system. Like Barcelona versus PSG would have been an open game, right?
Barcelona will have been like better than Inter.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's the point. But even Inter, like that's the thing, right? Football is such a funny sport, and it is harsh too. Inter system worked against Barcelona, even though I felt Barcelona were the better team. They
Yeah,
were
for
not
sure.
clinical though.
Yeah.
Could have scored more goals.
Yeah, but without experience, like you see Kubarsi, Araujo,
Yeah.
Balde, it was different match.
So man of the match for you?
Dembele without scoring, then Désiré Doué for scoring.
Yeah, I think Désiré Doué's stock price is gonna go up. I think he's gonna become 140 million or 150 million player, bro.
I hope so for him, yeah.
Imagine people talk about Kai Havertz scoring the only goal in the Champions League finale, which is fine. Even Fernando Torres did. No one talks about him, but Désiré Doué, I think he is consistent on another tangent, right? This guy is gonna go long, and I think even in the Premier League, in a system like Brighton's, he won't go for Brighton. He's not going to downgrade. But in a system like that, he can do so well.
Yeah.
Even in Liverpool, I think he can do really well.
I think so, yeah. To replace Salah or someone like that, yeah.
Are you going to make a call to the French national team?
Yeah.
Is he French? Désiré Doué?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Right. On that note, I think it was a miraculous game. It was an eye-opener for me that these systems can be relied on for sure. You know, people say that no, pragmatism, counter-attacking is what is the way ahead. Yeah, I mean, these tactics do not work on a consistent basis, in my opinion. I think you stick to that system. Pressing is the reason why PSG have actually won the game tonight. They were exceptional. You could see the hard work that they've been doing. Their wives, girlfriends have been feeding them well. They've been cooking good food in the kitchen, right? Yeah, on that note, thank you.